Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to our weekly Oneg Shabbat here at Gurwin. I hope everyone had a nice week. And the weather was beautiful this week, and hopefully we will be able to join together outside very, very shortly. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShoreis, Malachei Elyon. Mihi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShoreis, Malachei Elyon. Mihi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. B'achem l'shalom Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. B'achem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi melech malchei amlochim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This week's Torah portion, we read about leprosy. Leprosy in the times of our forefathers. Now, this is not exactly like the leprosy which is known now. It's similar. Leprosy now is known as a skin disease. It's pretty rare nowadays, thank God. Some places in the world they still have it. And it used to be if you had leprosy, you were put in a special isolation unit in a hospital. It's considered very, very contagious. So leprosy is certainly a term used now as a sort of skin disease, but in the Torah, it's used a little bit similar, but also a little bit different as well. Leprosy refers to a skin disease, but also a more spiritual disease, which comes apart when there's a taint on a person's soul. So it's a physical taint, but not because there's contagious, or not because you touch something. No, it comes when there's a spiritual deficiency. What causes spiritual deficiency? The Torah tells us speech, the way we speak. Specifically, lashon hara, which is bad speech about other people. And this is something which is very, very unique because a person speaks inappropriately, or a person speaks negatively, really, about somebody else. So they're damaging that person. They're damaging that person, and they're taught a lesson through this type of spiritual leprosy. But why is it? Why is speaking bad about somebody, tale-bearing, speaking to others, you know what this person did to me, you know what this person did, just speaking negative about other people, why is it such a big deal? I understand if I hurt someone physically, I destroy their property, those are big sins, but why? I'm just speaking. What's the big deal? I'm just saying something about somebody else. How bad is it? The reason given is twofold. First of all, word spread like fire. There's a great story which is told by a great rabbi, how somebody spoke bad about somebody else, their neighbor, and they felt bad about it after a number of years. And went to the rabbi, Rabbi, how can I get forgiveness for the sin? How can I repent from the sin of speaking really, really bad about somebody else? So Rabbi said, this is what you should do. Go to the top of a high mountain, take a bag of feathers, open up the bag of feathers in the wind, and then try to collect the feathers. The person said, that's impossible. The feathers will fly everywhere. He said, that's my point. When I speak bad to one person, they speak to somebody else. They speak to a third person, a fourth. You have no idea how far these terrible rumors could spread for anybody else. So one thing you're doing is you're not just damaging the person. You may think, well, how am I even damaging? They're not even here. I speak about someone who's not even here. But you know what? Words spread, stories spread. And when I speak bad about somebody, we have no idea how far those stories actually go and what harm those stories do. But it's more than that. Because speech is what makes us unique. It's what makes us special. Animals communicate, don't get me wrong. Birds, you hear birds chirping beautifully, dogs barking at each other. There's definitely some form of communication which we're unaware of. But speech is different than just communication. Speech is knowledge. Thought processes use our brain, use our mind, and we even use our souls itself to speak. And that's what makes humans so special, so unique. We assume that even if the animals are barking at each other, they're not saying gossip about each other, they're not shooting the breeze with their fellow dogs, but they're communicating. But us as human beings, we communicate, we speak, we give over wisdom, we give over knowledge. So our speech is very, very precious, and God gave us this ability to speak, and we should not use it for reasons which He did not intend to use them. It's a gift of speech. We have to treat this gift properly and cherish it, and not use it for harm, only use it for good. Dehodi likras kala pnei Shabbos nekabela. Dehodi likras kala pnei Shabbos nekabela. Shamar v'zachar b'dibur echad. Hishmiyahanu kelam yuchar. Hashem echad u'shmo echad. Shemos eferes v'lesila lecha dodi likras kala pnei Shabbos nekabela likras Shabbos Gurwin elcha ki mekor haviracha meirosh mikedem nisucha Sov maaseh b'machshavat chila lecha dodi likras kala pnei Shabbos nekabela mikdash melech ir milucha kumitzi mitocha hafecha ravlok shevet b'yim kabacha uyachamo la yechem la lecha dodi likras kala pnei Shabbos nekabela. Another thing which this leprosy represents is, again, it's not really a physical ailment. You can't take any medications. The person has to reflect and think about themselves. And hopefully when they think about why they spoke bad about somebody else, they come to realize that what was the cause of this? Why would I go ahead and speak negatively about somebody else for no reason? So the answer usually relies in that there's something lacking in ourselves, in our midos, in our character traits. We have flaws. Everyone has flaws in the world. No one's perfect. But some people have problems with anger. Some people have problems with jealousy. Some people have problems that they only look at others. Themselves don't look at others. They're selfish people. And the idea behind this leprosy is a little bit of a wake-up call. Person wakes up and they see on their skin is covered with these white patches. And they go to a regular medical doctor. The medical doctor says, nothing I could do. You need to go to a spiritual doctor, the priest. They would go to the priest, and the priest would diagnose them and say, yes, this is known as leprosy, the spiritual leprosy. And you need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, what character traits can I work on? What will make me a better person, a more giving person, a nicer person, a more caring person, a more compassionate person? And when the person does that and he realizes he could be a little bit better in any one of these areas in his life, the leprosy goes away. And the point of it is to teach us that, sometimes we forget about working on ourselves and fixing ourselves and acting a little bit better. But we should never forget that. So God gives us a little bit of a push, a little bit of a wake-up call. And sometimes says, this is very, very important to me, to be a good person, to be a nice person. And this is a lesson we could always encourage ourselves. There's always something nice we could do to our friend, to our neighbor, one of the staff people that's helping us. A nice word, a kind word, a good thought, a thank you, whatever we do will elevate them and elevate us as well. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra liyez nasa b'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kechlos hakol levahado yimloch nora v'uhaya v'uhoveh hu yeh b'sifara v'hu echad v'yein sheni am shila lehachbira v'li reishis v'li sachles v'lo ha'oz v'hamizra v'hu keli v'chai goali surchav li b'yeit nasa v'hu nisi umanosli v'nas kosi b'yom ekra v'yahado avkid ruchi v'yeis ishan v'yahira v'yem ruchi geviyasi yado shemli v'lo ira. And have a happy and healthy Shabbat, a great weekend. We'll see everybody next week.